guys and gals, and welcome along to part 12 of making this slightly larger than miniature hit and miss engine. In this episode I'm going to attempt to make the framework that holds the whole body, excuse me, and the crankshaft together. We'd hopefully try and make the carrier caps for the main bearings, and what else? I think we've some work on cylinder head to do. So yeah, it's going to be a fair bit to do. I've quite a lot to do on milling machine. I don't think there's anything to do on the lathe. So without further ado, let's pile into it and see where we get, because I don't know how far I'm going to get. Okay guys and gals. Well, that's just about it. I'll give it a try. Machine face down. Now. In there like that. It'll actually be down there. So as I say, I've got the tap for it, and I found drill size. Can't remember what it was now. I've wrote it down somewhere, and that could go in. Well, it can't. I don't want to fit it yet. That'll probably go in last when I've put it all together. But that's another item made. It's adjustable on that, and then you just turn it on by flipping that up, and that pulls the needle out of the seat in here, and then that's your sight glass, so you can see it dripping, so you could set it up and adjust it all, get an idea roughly where it wants to be, and then when you're not using it you just drop that down, and that'll be just filled with oil. I need to drill a little hole in here to facet me being able to get some oil in there, obviously, otherwise it means taking top off every time. Don't know what's going to be next. I just came in here tonight to measure up for one of my subscribers had asked me about ball turning and anodizing, and wanted to know the sizes of the mandrels that are made with the threads. I know most of the handles I've done are for the Myford, and they're Whitworth, British Standard Whitworth BSW threads. Anyway, I've made him a list. I'm going to take a photo of my little list I've made for him and sending him it tonight. He's emailed me. Anybody ever needs to know anything that I've done, any kind of measurements, I mean, don't ask me to send you a set of drawings for this, because there ain't any. It's just what I'm doing. But yeah, don't hesitate to get my email address. Don't necessarily do it through YouTube, because I don't want any things being iffy, people putting email addresses. You know, you're leaving yourself a little bit open. But if you if you click on my moniker, with Stevie GTR, and then click on About when it takes you to my home page, and at bottom there's my email address. It might ask you if you're a robot, and you click no, I'm not a robot, and it might ask you a question just to prove who you are. But yeah, email me. I always check my email. My phone gives me a beep every time I get one, so don't hesitate, guys, if you need anything. Likewise, if you're stuck for a part, I mean, I've got plenty of taps and drills and stuff. If anything specific that you wanted to borrow, you know, we could, as long as you're within England, we could come to some sort of an arrangement. I have lots of tackle, and I quite often get to a point where I'm looking for things, can't find them, and I go buy some more, and then I go and find them, like I said earlier, or in the last part. A bit of an idiot that way, I suppose it's old age. Okay guys, we'll go on to the next bit, whatever that'll be. So I've just drilled a hole clear all the way through here, but a very small one, something like 1/8 of an inch drill, for the oil drip into the cylinder. And then this is M10 by 1, which is the thread for that oiler. So I drilled a 9mm hole, 10mm deep, which is the depth of that thread. And we'll seal that with PTFE tape, I suppose, or maybe some thread lock later. But I bobbed the cylinder head on and nipped it with just 2 bolts, just so that I knew the liner was right in as far as it'll go, because that liner's got to come back out again yet, and then be, I don't know whether I'm going to use Loctite or JB Weld or whatever around it, and then press it in, and that'll be it, it'll be in permanently. But that obviously got to be lined back up with the hole that I've drilled. That needs deburring. So yeah, trying to get on with it. Right, so far I've used Loctite 638, and I put plenty around the cylinder barrel, and that's home now. Made sure that, because that's locked solid now, that the oiler that we're putting in at the top, which I've already shown you, which screws in there, has got the drip hole right through, which it has, and that's all cleaned up. I'll have to remember when I put the piston rings in not to have the piston ring at the top. They need to probably be horizontal to each other, one left, one right, because if the ring catches in that hole, it would break the ring. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to, because this barrel's made of cast iron and this cylinder head's made of cast iron, I'm going to use the old tradition of what you'd used to do with old motorbikes, with a cast barrel and head, and what that is you lap the cylinder head onto its barrel with grinding paste. You don't have a gasket, so there'll be no gasket on here. I'm going to lap it in now, so I'm not going to show you me lapping it in, because it's basically fine grinding paste on there. Work it backwards and forwards, move it, do it some more, lift it out, move it, do it some more, until eventually we've got ourselves 2 ground faces. So there's no point in me showing you grinding it, but I will come back when that's done. I might loosely bolt the head on, I don't know, but there's no reason to. It's what to do next, because I'm fast getting to a point where I need to make the body, the whole body. Okay. nuts out now. Oh, look at this. So the primary timing gear will go and the crankshaft will be there, and the cam drive secondary sprocket will be there. It can go anywhere from there downwards, probably about maybe there. Yeah, it gives us plenty of clearance. So just I need to make another one of them exactly the same, and then somehow fasten them together. Right, so what I've done is drill 2 holes. One's where the bearing's going to be cut away there, so that'll all be cut away, so that don't matter. So there's a bolt going in there, and this is going to be sacrificial, unfortunately, and I'm going to put a bolt through there, and then I might just leave a clamp on that end, because I've decided this has got to go in my rotary table, because I've got to mill all these edges, and there's so many different angles to do that probably the best way would be to put it on the rotary table, and then I can move it to where I want it, and I just move the X or the Y. That's my plan. I'll just drill them out a bit bigger because that's too small. Zero. Half a thou, less than half a thou. That's pretty darn accurate. Yeah, that's got it. Right. You see that end, you know. Right, I'm going to just move the camera out a bit. Oh, my stomach's making some noises tonight. Right, so that's the base cut. Done. I shouldn't have any more to take off that, all being well. It's turned out really well, it's cut well. The end, if you can see that end, I can't really cut that end yet because, I'll try and explain this to you without taking it out. One of the bolts I put through, these two not sacrificial, but 2 bolts to hold the thing together. One of them is where the bearing goes, the big roller bearing for the crankshaft main bearing. I'll just get some tissue. For the crankshaft main bearing. And until I make some main bearing caps to fit on here, and then line bore it through the both plates to the size, I believe it's 1.25 inches, I'm not sure, but I can show you the bearing. They want cleaning, that were good bearing, there's some dirt got in that. Right, so that's the bearing, and that's got to go half into this cap and half into the cap, the cover, you know, come on, what do you call it, the main bearing cap. Well, until I've done that, I can't fit the crankshaft in and then move it top dead centre to see where my top dead centre of my piston is, and then move the barrel around until I get my 5:1 compression ratio. To get my 5:1 compression ratio, I measured the length of my stroke, which is 32mm, and then I divided it, using my phone of course, I divided it by 6 to give me 6 increments, 5 for the stroke and 1 for the air, the compression, the compressed. So I'm compressing 5 parts into 1 part, which creates a 5:1 compression ratio, if you understand that. Until I get this bearing set in and the cranking, I can't tell how long these two cheeks want to be, because I've left them long. They might need quite a bit cutting off them yet just to get it right. I can't do that. What can I do? I can move these clamps around, I can mill the back edge, I can mill the face where the crankshaft fits, and then the shape that comes down, and then the top edge where the main cylinder barrel fits. Now to do all that, well no, to do this back face I can just rotate this table now where it is. I'll do some indicating again to get it right, but that don't need to be accurate on that, it's just my scribbled drawing. This does need to be accurate, why I put the indicator on it. Put that bearing back before it gets too much more dirt in it. So I'm going to rotate this and I'm going to do this back edge, and then I'm going to have to carefully remove one clamp and move them to this side and the other one to this side, and then go right round so I can have that at the front, if it makes any sense to you. Okay, so I'm going to knock off for a minute because I've got some rotating to do and checking up to do to get this right. May come back, I might have to set camera up at a different angle for you. Oh yeah, that's lovely, yeah. So that's the bottom done and the back done. So now I've got to turn these clamps round because there's quite a lot of material to remove off there. So I'll come back when I've got it all spun round. Okay, so that's 3 sides done. So I'll do this face next, and then there's this little slight chamfered one to do. Do I do that first? Okay. Right, I'll get set up again and come back. Well, I think I'm going to call it at that. If you can see all that. What we're messing with is that radius there, but I don't want to push my luck because you end up cutting too deep. So I'll probably dress that by hand. To get that finish, but that's it. So that face is done, and that all, well, they're all done, all sides are done apart from that front edge which I talked about, and that's going to have to be done afterwards. I think my next job is to make some bearing caps for here and drill them and fix them, and then line bore this through to take that bearing. Obviously it's got to be bored slightly under, or the cap has to be cut back slightly just so it grips it, because it's not a bush or a bearing as such, it's a roller bearing. It didn't need a cap, but I've done it just to make it look more authentic. Okay guys, so I'll come back when I've got some more done, or getting ready to do some more maybe. I'll probably make, say, these main bearing caps next. Right, these are the 2 main bearing caps that I've cut roughly on the bandsaw, and I'm going to trim them up now, make them nice and square edged. I'm going to take them down first with the milling cutter, and then possibly use the little fly cutter when I get near my mark. doing next. This bolognese is repeating on me. Suppose I've just got to come on and file across there. Right, I suppose I'm going to have to take it out because I can't do any more now there. I've got 2 ends to do and I'm going to turn it up. Well, yeah, I could turn it over actually and just fly cut the other side. Yeah, that's a good idea. Orientation's done. I need to do the ends now. Yeah, mistake, what have I done wrong? I've clamped 2 pieces of aluminium horizontally in there, and if that had been stainless or maybe some mild steel, it's possible I could have gripped one harder than the other. Ideally I should have put a zigzag piece of alley wire in there and trapped it in that. But I didn't, but it seemed like it were gripping okay. I've done it before and I've had one on the slip. So that was a mistake. Yeah, some more to come off, another 1.6. Oh, 0 that one. 53.94. I'll measure them when I get them out. not easy when they're in there. But basically, that's the bearing carriers done. No, it isn't. It isn't at all. Because some final bit of fettling to do. Right. That's the bearing. That's going to go half into that and half into the body of the housing. I'm going to use Allen screws in here, so I'm going to recess down so the Allen screw finished sort of flushish with top of there. So really I could measure what the head of a 5mm is, how big, and allow wherever I'm going to drill here, and take that material off. Again, I could do it in pairs like that, just that to take off, and then the bit that, I suppose if I left them sticking out enough I could do them both without moving them. That's probably what we'll do, but I'm going to have a right good clean up the D-bird. I'm covered in it, so, and guys, it's getting late and it's Saturday night. Hello again. So this is the conclusion of part 12 of the hit and miss engine. As you've seen, we've done quite well. We made the side cheeks, bolted them together and did them both separately. Sorry, did them both together. They still need filing up. We've made the main bearing caps that have got to be machined yet. I didn't get round to it in this part, but there's little steps to put in there for Allen screws to go in to make them look a little bit more authentic. And we ground the cylinder head onto the barrel, which I think should be okay. I might have another go and do a little bit more on that, but it seems okay. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and a like, and share if you think anybody else might be interested in this. It's coming on along nicely now, so getting stuck into it. I've been a bit lax this last sort of month or more, been very lax. You just get like that, don't you? All it's done is bang it down with rain and wanting to go out on motorbike and couldn't. We've been out once to File one Saturday about a month and a half ago, we haven't been out since. So yeah, absolutely hopeless. But they say weather's going to turn around. It's Saturday, what we on? It's Saturday the 5th of August, and according to BBC Weather, today here in Leeds it was going to bounce it down all day. It hadn't rained once, and apparently tomorrow's going to be sunny, and they said it were going to bounce it down tomorrow as well. Plus a big storm coming, Storm Anthony apparently. Thanks for watching guys, we'll see you on the next one, which will be part 13. Thank you.